Good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Ingram, and I am the current educator for postpartum and labor and delivery at a major hospital system in Orange County. And today I am excited to discuss with you design theory and nursing competency. How can we use design theory to create real-time competency measures that create better staff orientation overall? So let's dig in. So first, our objectives. We're going to explain the importance of using design theory. We're going to look at this area of opportunity for education and design theory to combine. And then we're also going to describe strategies to continue forward movement and using design theory and education together to create these better outcomes, not only for staff, but also for patients as we create better solutions for nurses. So first, what is design theory? So design theory is a method and a process, a dynamic method, okay, that is used to focus on human-centered solutions, okay? The objective or goal is not to come to a quick solution that is a top-down from leaders, okay? The objective is to truly understand the viewpoint or worldview from the end user's perspective. So it's important to remember that design theory is not a linear process. And while you might be at, say, the prototype stage, right? There's multiple stages, as you can see, to design theory. While you might be at the prototype stage, you might realize that I need to go back to the empathize stage. I missed a worldview, I missed a viewpoint. I didn't listen as well or understand as well as I should have, and I had to jump back, and then we start the process over. It is a very dynamic, creative, and innovative process. It helps to broaden our thinking, right? As leaders, we tend to want to do up or down approaches to solutions that we know are easy, are quick fixes, are time and tested and true. However, with design theory, it actually is a method that broadens our horizons. How do we think outside the box, right? How do we create solutions where we're asking, how might we? Yes, and can we do this? And it expands our solutions outside of our normal tools and our normal toolbox. So we're going to look more into this. So let's discuss a little bit more about what design theory truly is. So we're going to briefly cover the 5 stages of design theory here. This is by no means exhaustive, okay? We will get to some mythologies of how we will dig deeper into design theory, into our proposed opportunity and solution-based approach that we want to do with design theory. But let's briefly cover these stages, okay? All of these stages and so ideas and examples have come from the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing, which is super exciting because it is already a healthcare facility using design theory, okay? So first off, the first stage in design theory is empathy, okay? This is where you're truly trying to understand what is the worldview, the viewpoint of my end users, right? In healthcare, that can be patients, that can be staff, that can be new hires, that could be leaders, right? This is done through qualitative interviews, through interviews with open-ended questions, the same open-ended questions, okay? And allowing that time and that space for conversations to occur, okay? So that's where that empathy stage comes from. Your next stage is going to be define. So define is a stage to where you're going to look at creating that problem statement. Okay, how might we? And let's be very careful with healthcare here. You cannot create a solution in this stage. This is not the solution stage. This is how might we, defining that problem. This stage is very important because as you go through the design theory process, you're going to want to keep coming back to this stage and saying, are we following our problem statement that we created in the very beginning? Okay, so that's the define stage. The ideate stage is my favorite stage of all. Okay, this is the brainstorming stage where you really just want to throw open all of the ideas that you can possibly create. This is where my favorite phrase is yes and. Somebody says, let's do this. Yes, and what about this? Yes, and what about this proposed solution over here? Okay, I love this stage because it reminds me to just throw open all the crafts from my kids' craft closet and really throw it out on the table in an open environment, a non-judgmental environment, and let's create. What can we create and solutions that we can make with our glitter, our glue, our crayons, our colors that are out of the box thinking for healthcare. That's the ideate brainstorming stage. That's a little bit different than brainstorming in the normal ways that healthcare does brainstorming. Okay, so that's why I love that stage. After ideate, you then go on to the prototype stage. The prototype stage is where we want to take these quick solutions and really start putting them out there, right? It's low fidelity solutions. This is not a comfortable spot for healthcare. We don't like quick prototyping and we don't like quick testing. We are evidence-based, research-based practitioners in healthcare. However, what if we can take this prototyping and this testing and let it move to the business side of healthcare, the customer service side, the staff side, the education side of healthcare, and we can really do these quick prototypes, which is where you take your smaller group of stakeholders, have them test it, have them look at it. This is by no means the final solution or the final product, right? This is how do we create a better final product, right? I need them to test it, right? And we need to do that quickly and then revisit and adapt and pivot and adjust it and put it back out there again. It's that quick prototyping. Think about simulation drills in healthcare. That's prototyping. We are doing simulation drills in our real life environment and real life emergencies, right? In obstetrics, it's hypertension, postpartum hemorrhage, preeclampsia, baby emergencies, that we're testing those in our real life environment so I can take back what didn't work in that simulation, quickly adjust and make those changes for our healthcare teams. That's prototyping. We're already doing it. We just need to also apply it to our solution and problem-solving techniques, okay? The final stage, or I shouldn't say the final stage, the next stage in design theory is testing. And that is where we're kind of at a pilot stage, I guess is what it would be called, and more so in healthcare and other business solutions, is the pilot stage, okay? This is where I could have more of my final solution to my problem, and I then give it out to the diverse group of stakeholders, and that is the test stage. And is, does this product actually work with this group, with my end users? It's a lot like so many products get put to market, right? Food, technology, retail items, makeup, and yet after 6 months, a year, their product is reimaged, right? The marketing is redone, the branding is redone, a simple color change on it, right? Maybe the smell of a fragrance of a product is changed because they've had this test phase, and end users have said, you know, this really could be better. Okay, that's a test phase. The great thing about design theory is that at any part, in any one of these stages, I can take it and I can go back to a previous stage, right? It is such a dynamic, creative process, and it kind of goes against our diagnostic healthcare problem solving solutions that we like to do, okay? But that's why it's so important. Healthcare is behind in the way that we solve problems, and it's creating negative patient outcomes. If we can use design theory to create better solutions, hopefully we can create better patient outcomes as well, okay? So what is one opportunity that we could use this for on the education side, right? As a nurse educator, I want to use this to create better workflows, better processes for the nurse education team that allows us to then go on and spend more time at the bedside, spend more time with our nurses and with our patients, okay? So one solution, this education opportunity, is with competency management. Competency management is where we have new hires are on board to hospitals at least every 2 weeks. They're throughout multiple stages of orientation, right? I might have one that's on their first day, and I might have one that's like on week 3 because we had to extend orientation a little bit. I might have some traveler nurses thrown in there to where they're on like day 2, which is really like week 4. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on. So we have to collaborate with the nurse managers. The nurse managers are accountable for them to complete this competency in conjunction with the nurse educators. And it also needs real-time follow-through, right? Real-time follow-through as in somebody's not doing well in orientation. I need to bring them back and I need to do more with them, okay? And it can decrease costs if it's done correctly. However, as nurse educators, we are split between two campuses. We have multiple units, multiple staff, and oftentimes our time is to do what we call stop the bleeding. There are clinical emergencies and clinical situations that need our most dire attention, and that is the stop the bleeding priorities that we have to focus on for patient care. And so competency management tends to fall at the bottom or the lower end of that spectrum of things we need to do first, okay? So I like to always ask, do you have a spreadsheet like this? This is my personal spreadsheet that I use. There are no names on it, but you can see it is not filled out. It is months behind, and I like to be super organized, but this is months behind, and so we need a better tool, and this is something that many educators use, okay? So how does design theory fit into our organization? Will it fit? Will it do well with our organization? So our organization's mission is to provide high quality, affordable healthcare that improves the health of our communities, okay? Competent staff provide better quality healthcare. No, there's no doubt about it, okay? If we can decrease extended orientation, I can have staff on the floor sooner and I can decrease those orientation costs, right? I can start getting them into the productivity measures needed to really decrease costs and increase quality, okay? Culture-wise, as a fit into our organization, educators are the innovators and early adopters of the facility. There's no doubt about it. We bring the new rollouts, we bring the new equipment to the facility. We're the ones that implement it, and we're always super excited when there's better solutions to create better outcomes for staff and patients. The structure, we really need a mobile cloud-based solution for competency management as we're constantly on the go between facilities, between meetings, between courses that we're teaching. And we need to be able to do real-time management between the two campuses and to really manage staff well amongst all of our new hires from home, from the office, from whichever campus we're at. Our structure allows us to be adaptable, and we need something that adapts with us. Okay, so how will we know that design theory-based solutions are working, right? We need metrics, we need outcomes to make sure that something is working. So first, orientation shifts. Did my orientation shifts decrease or increase with this new competency management tool? Whatever that solution is, what was the outcome of my orientation shifts? Are staff satisfied with their orientation shifts, their check-ins, and the follow-up of their orientation? Do they feel like they mattered, that they cared, that we cared? Okay. Nursing quality metrics are our metrics for post-surgical site infections, for CODIs, for collapses, for obstetric complications. Are they decreasing or increasing? Right? Is there a correlation between better competency management, real-time follow-through, and a better workflow for educators with quality metrics becoming better, patient safety items becoming better? Is there a correlation? I think it would be very interesting to look at that and to see how that works together. Then finally, nurse satisfaction and retention. It is a known fact that nurse onboarding is a key aspect of retaining nurses past that first year. So do our nurse competency management tools and things that we do they encourage nurses to stay? Because again, they feel like we cared because we had that time for real-time follow-up. We had the tools we need to encourage them through their orientation and their competency. We had the tools to create it, to make it a better priority for us. So what we would use is we could use objective surveys, we could use qualitative interviews, we could use our quality metrics. All those different tools could help us with our objective side of assessment of, is this tool working? Okay, so what is the recommended technique? Well, the recommended technique is to follow a design thinking process. That is what we want to bring to the table today, right? It's a sustainable and innovative solution. We can first start by using empathy, right? What are the qualitative interviews and open-ended questions that we need to look at? Define, create that problem statement. How might we? Let's ideate. Let's get the supplies from the education craft closet, throw them all out on the table, and let's create an amazing solution together by using yes and. Let's prototype. What low fidelity testing can we do, and how do we refine it for a pilot test? And then let's actually test it. Let's give it out to the educators. How might it be better? Can we annually revisit it and update it to make it even better? Okay, and how do we move forward with the next steps? So let's learn more about design thinking and with this current problem. Okay, competency management is a real problem. Let's create a design theory work group. Educators, managers, frontline staff, executive leadership. We're going to create these design theory workshops, a lot like evidence-based research workshops, to really learn more about design theory and then to apply design theory to our actual problem of competency management. Okay, so right now what we're going to do, our strategy moving forward, we're going to set a time, we're going to set a date, we're going to look at calendars, we are going to make it a priority to bring these workshops together, and we're going to determine an off-site location, someplace where we're not going to get our doors knocked on, right? We're able to step aside and to really focus on this. These workshops will include materials, books, notebooks, pens, things to really dive into deeper into design thinking and into the solution that we need to create for competency management. And we're going to start using design theory more and more. We're going to create some design theory champions for our facility, and we're going to start with the education team. Okay, so in summary, we kind of looked at the importance of design theory in healthcare. We identified an area of opportunity with competency management in our education team. We designed how we stated how we can combine design theory and nursing education with very brief high-level overview, and then we described some strategies to keep moving forward. So let's get back, let's sit at the table, let's decide on some dates, some times to create these design theory workshops, and let's start by creating a competency tool, a competency solution to create better onboarding and overall better health care for our staff and our patients. Are there any questions? Thank you all. Here are my references. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.